right, we're live. Cool. Hi, welcome back. I thought I would go ahead and do this live because editing this video would probably be a pain otherwise. Plus, I'm trying to do this occasionally. It's only my second live video, very exciting. So I am here today with my 2,000 subscriber Q&A, and I'm going to draw the giveaway winner live. I went ahead and put everybody who commented. In order to enter the giveaway, you had to be in the United States and you had to give me a question for the Q&A, and there are 2 books that could potentially be won. So the giveaway is now closed as of me doing this video. We'll see if anybody comes and joins in, but if not, this will be up on my channel after it is over. So I actually got a lot of questions, so thank you so much to all of you who gave me questions. I got 20 questions, which is kind of funny and wonderful, and a lot of really good ones. So I did put them all in a spreadsheet so I can do a random number generator at the end of the Q&A to draw the winner, and then you guys will need to just contact me so that I can get all your shipping information and get your prize to you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I did look at these beforehand because a few of them were like really tough and I had to actually think about them a little bit. So I have answers prepared for a couple of these, but not for all of them. So let me go in here. Okay, and again, thank you guys so much. It's just been amazing how the channel has been going and growing, and I don't know if anybody's gonna be around. It's like 10 in the morning, so we'll see. All right. Come on, spreadsheet, get me up to the top. Like, does not, sorry guys, technical difficulties here. There we go. Okay, so first question is from Michael Spitz, and he asked, what book got you into reading? So this is a little hard, and this kind of relates to another question that I have a little bit later, but in a lot of ways I've always kind of been a reader for as long as I can remember. Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was probably around 4 years old, I was the oldest of 6, which I know is crazy. And so my mom had lots of other things going on and couldn't read books to me as frequently as I maybe wished that she would. So I was like, well, let me just like see if I can teach myself how to read. So they taught me some like basic phonics, and I basically kind of taught myself how to read so I could read my own books. And so I've been reading from a pretty early age. I mean, obviously basic sort of children's books. I think the first, I would say, and I probably said this before on other things, but I would say that the first series that got me into fantasy and made me a really big reader was The Chronicles of Narnia. My parents gave me a box set for my 7th birthday, and I just devoured them and read them and reread them. I actually still own my copies. They are very tattered, and I recently bought a new set for my kids. But yeah, Chronicles of Narnia was probably one of the big series that really made me a reader. And yeah, they're still favorites. That may come up again in this Q&A. I don't know, we'll see. So thank you to everybody for your questions, by the way. Always Me says, you have a wide range of genres when reading. Is there one genre that you favor more? Yes, fantasy is definitely my favorite genre. I can't read it all the time. I need variety. I enjoy variety in my reading, but probably my true love is fantasy. And it's funny, it kind of struck home to me recently because I was going through all of the many books that I've read this year and trying to figure out what books might be, because at the end of the year I'll make a list of my top books of the year, my favorites, and so I was kind of figuring out, okay, like which of the books that I've read so far have been some of my all-time favorites, and most of them were fantasy. A couple nonfiction, a couple sort of marginally science fiction, but most of my like favorite books are fantasy, so yeah, that would definitely be my preferred genre, I would say. Brinley Tesh says, my question is, what book character would you like your children to look up to as a role model type figure? So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of ways I could potentially answer this question. Oh, good, we have people. That's exciting. Hi. Oh, yay, I didn't know if anybody would pop in here, so I'm here for the Q&A. That's exciting. Okay, so what book character would you like your children to look up to as a role model type figure? And I would say Harry Potter. I don't know if that's like a weird thing to say, but the thing I like about him is that as he grows, he learns from his mistakes, he cares deeply about his friends, he makes sacrifices and makes good decisions, sometimes makes poor decisions, but he learns and he grows from them. And so I guess I would want that for my children, to have good friendships, to care about people, and to learn from the mistakes that they make and the things that they maybe don't always do perfectly. So yeah. I wonder if I can go on my computer to this, because I'm like wondering, I don't know how this works in terms of if I can see if you guys are commenting with this orientation. So I'm gonna, give me just 1 second. Let's see if I go like on my computer to this. I don't know. It's only the second time I've done the live stream. So if one of you wants to comment, and I'll see if I can actually see it, because maybe not. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything, so sorry guys, just a second. Oh, shoot, that's the last thing we need. All right. Oh, good, more people are joining in. Sorry, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that I can actually see if anybody's commenting, and then I will get back to the questions for the Q&A. So, oh, yay, someone comment. Okay, good, I can see. Hi, Bree. Okay, good. This is working. Okay, great. Thank you for commenting. My tripod is like deciding to fall over. Sorry for technical difficulties. This is the problem with going live, I guess. Okay, good. Are we gonna stay? Yes. All right, back to the questions, because I got lots of really great ones. Katrina from the Fabulous Book Fiend said, I'd love for you to share with us how you track your books and your reading, which is a great question. I've probably talked about this somewhere before, but maybe not a lot. So I do a few different things. I do track all my reading on Goodreads. So I rate and review, short or long, all of the books that I read on Goodreads. And I also have a spreadsheet, because I like spreadsheets and data, and I'm kind of a nerd that way. So I have a spreadsheet where I record lots and lots of information, and I got this somewhere, somebody amazing on Booktube, and I don't remember, unfortunately, who created this wonderful spreadsheet where you can track genre and author and pages read and like everything, basically, the year that it was written, all these things, diversity. And so I track all of that on a spreadsheet, which is cool, because then at the end of the year I can go back and make charts and graphs and do like a fun overall year reading thing. And I have been loving doing that. I don't know what. Hi, good morning, Ashley. So I've been really loving that. I like having my stuff in a spreadsheet. I didn't used to keep such close track of it, but I'm quite enjoying it. Plus, I think it keeps me more aware of like the genres I'm reading and whether I'm getting different types of authors and stuff in. Good morning, Julie. Oh, I'm so glad people are actually coming on the live stream. This is so exciting. I wasn't sure if people were going to be able to do it. Okay, next question was from Marlena Triggs. She says, as an avid reader, do you feel more accomplished reading one 1,000-page book or a few under 300-page books in a week? Oh, see, that's a tough question. Man, I feel like now, because I have so many books that I need to review, I probably lean towards reading, good morning, Wendy. I probably lean towards reading just several shorter books, because then I can kind of get them off my plate if I need to review. But it does feel like a really great accomplishment reading like a 1,000-page book. So I don't know, it's different types of things. Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, my headband. Okay, so I recently tried out, there's this girl, she has an Etsy shop, Winnie's Whimsies. I'll try to leave this in the description below when this is done going live. And she makes these adorable headbands that you can tie yourself, and I'm kind of obsessed with them. I've been wearing them like every day almost since I got them. I got a couple and then I just ordered a couple more. And I like them because I always like the way headbands look, but I think maybe I have a larger head or something, because I always get headaches. They're always too tight, and I love this because I can tie it myself and make sure it's not too tight. So anyway, side note, but go check her out. She's got a great shop. Next, Megan asks, what is your favorite childhood book? And I'm gonna go back to something I said earlier. I mean, this is gonna have to be the Chronicles of Narnia. It's not a single book. Although if I were gonna say which of those books were my favorite, probably as a child, The Horse and His Boy and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader were my two favorites that I reread the most often. But yeah, my copies from when I was a kid are super tattered. I love those, and those made me a fantasy reader probably from when I was a kid. Carmen Clement asked, what is your favorite book that has been made into a movie that actually didn't disappoint you? So I think there have been a few pretty good movie adaptations recently. One that I just saw was The Hate You Give. Highly recommend everybody see it. I have a book versus movie review up right now, actually, because I got the chance to go see an early screening of it, which was amazing, and it is very, very good. Great adaptation. Some other really good ones are, I like The Little Women that was made back in the 90s. I thought that was a pretty great adaptation of the book. It doesn't get everything into it, but Little Women's like a really long book. I thought Love, Simon did a pretty good job of capturing the spirit of the book. I guess that's the thing. I've gotten to the point where now I don't necessarily need it to be an exact replica of what's in the book, because I think that's hard to do, but something that does a good job of taking the spirit of the book and putting it into, you know, what makes sense for film, because you can do things in books that you can't do in film and vice versa. They're just like very different mediums. So anyway, that's my spiel on that. But yeah, I think there have been some good ones lately. Ruby's Nails asked, what is your favorite book series of all time? Guys, that's really, really hard. I mean, probably I'm going to go back and again say Chronicles of Narnia, because it's probably the one that I've read the most times. Oh, another one though that I also have read, and have read as an adult even, and still think it holds up, is the Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamora Pierce. I think this is so underrated. Like, people don't talk about it. It's kind of a crossover that starts middle grade and maybe goes to YA, although the YA didn't exist as a thing so much back when it was published. But she's amazing and still publishing, which is crazy. But it is this wonderful quartet of kind of feminist fantasy books, and I would say that her writing was probably my first introduction to feminism in some sense. And it's about this girl named Alana, and she has a twin brother, and she's being sent off to like a finishing school to learn how to become a lady, and her brother is supposed to be sent off to become a knight, but she wants to learn to be a knight and he wants to be a mage, so they switch places, and she pretends to be a boy so she can train how to be a knight. And then there's magic that comes into play, and it's just wonderful. It's just fantastic. So it starts with her as like a, I don't know, 9-year-old or something, and then she's a grown woman by the end of the series, so it kind of spans that. So that's another one of my favorites that I've reread multiple times, even as an adult, and I still think it holds up really well, so I recommend that one. Okay, Christine Melton asked, do you like reading horror books? So I've been thinking a lot about this lately, actually, maybe because of this time of year. I do like some horror books. I like lighter horror books and creepy horror books, and there's certain types I like. It's funny, I was just watching a couple of recommendation videos of horror for beginners, and it was interesting seeing kind of my initial responses to the descriptions of some of these books, because some of them I was like, oh, that sounds intriguing, and some of them I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not reading that. Nope. So I am really, really creeped out by possession stories and have like no interest in reading possession stories. That just, I can't. That creeps me out. I also just don't like slasher type stuff, but psychological thrillers, I can do some haunted house stories, just like creepy stuff that's like milder horror. So if you have recommendations, let me know. It's not a genre that I've gotten deeply into, but I do like some, is the short way of putting that. But like things that are really going to terrify me, nope, don't need that. Nope. I know some people like being super scared. I'm not one of them. I've never been like a huge fan of that. Okay, Melina, I'm not sure, Mutter asked, which was your most favorite book signing or meeting the author, and why? I have had like the privilege of getting to meet a lot of authors, which has been really cool, and there have been a lot of kind of amazing things. Not a horror fan either. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think some people love it, and I like some of the fringes of it, so I get it, yeah. Okay, so I'll talk about a couple of standouts. One that was probably my most recent thing where I definitely fangirled and it was really fun was at New York City Comic Con. Hey! Hi, Steve! Yeah! Glad to have you here. Awesome. Yeah, I kind of randomly decided, let's just go live for this. I had planned on filming it, and I was like, then I don't have to edit it, and this is fun because I can talk to you guys. Okay, so favorite book signing author meeting, a couple I want to talk about. So the first one was at New York City Comic Con. I got to meet Shauna McGuire, who wrote the Wayward Children series, and I kind of fangirled about it. It was really cool. She's written a ton of other stuff too. She's amazingly prolific. Also, I don't know if this is terrible to say, but like I feel like her author photo does not do her justice. Like I wish she would do another author photo because she's like quite much nicer looking in person than I don't know if that's bad, but anyway, but she was just lovely and wonderful. So I got to chat with her. I got all of my Wayward Children books signed and was really excited about it. And then she was amazing and like gave me her last arc of the next book in the series, and I was so excited and signed it for me. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like just randomly, that wasn't even what the signing line was for, but she was like, well, they all go together, so you should just have them. And that was very, very cool. Yeah, that was a very cool moment. She was just lovely. Also at Comic-Con, man, I had a great time at Comic-Con. I ran into Victoria Schwab and got to chat with her for a while, and she is just the sweetest, loveliest person. And I was vlogging at New York City Comic-Con, and she actually like talked on the vlog to you guys. If you haven't seen that vlog, go check out the vlog. And she was like, hi to the viewers of Beautifully Bookish Bethany, and she's just lovely. She's the sweetest, like most down-to-earth person, so that was real cool. Yes. That is cool. Midtown Comics had a countdown clock to New York City Comic Con. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, so one other author meeting that I thought I would chat about that I thought was pretty, it was very surreal, I guess, is a year ago, I went to Brooklyn Book Festival, and I was very new to Booktube. My channel was like tiny. I think it maybe had like 100 subscribers, but I was like, just like, I'm gonna do this and tell people I'm a booktuber and I'm gonna vlog this and whatever. And I ended up, going afterwards to dinner with a group of people, with some authors and some people in publishing, and Holly Black showed up and Libba Bray showed up. And so I like sat at a table with Holly Black and Libba Bray, and we chatted about our kids, and it was like super surreal. I was like, how is this my life right now? So that was also like a very kind of crazy, cool author meeting. I do think living in New York is great because we do have a lot of authors that live in the area, and a lot of publishing happens here, so I get to meet, like I've had the privilege of getting to meet a lot of authors, which has been amazing, but those are a couple of standouts that felt like big kind of fangirl moments. So yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, so next question is from Creator Stage, who asks, if all of the books on your shelves were erupting in flames, oh God, please no, never. Which one book would you run to first to save? Oh my gosh. I don't even know, like that would be kind of my worst nightmare. I assume probably for most of you too, bookshelves erupting in flames. Oh my gosh, like what would I run to save? That is really hard. Geez, I mean, maybe it would be sort of more sentimental books. So again, I have my like childhood set of Chronicles of Narnia. I have a copy of Little Women that my parents gave to me when I was like 10, and like have a note in it. It would probably be something sentimental, but I just hope that never ever happens, and that is not a decision I ever have to make, because that would be terrible. Okay, Lori's Book Trials asks, what is my favorite and least favorite thing about Booktube? Good question. I mean, I know this is sort of the typical answer, but I think my favorite thing about Booktube, of course, has been the community. I have made some very close friends through this community, which I don't think I went in expecting to happen, but I have several really great girlfriends that are also creators that I have made through this channel, and like, I feel like they're, you know, I don't even know what to say about it. Like kindred spirits, I guess is the word for it. And I think sometimes as women, we don't always find other people who think similarly to us and have similar interests. And Booktube is just an amazing community to get to connect with other people. And I've made some incredible friends and have some amazing subscribers. And I even just had like the craziest experience recently. I just went to a signing this weekend, and one of my subscribers came up to talk to me, and I was like so touched because I don't normally think of this content as like doing something significant, but she's a little bit older woman. She's got grandkids she was telling me about, and she was telling me that she found my channel after she had a stroke and was going through speech therapy, and it helped her get back into reading and helped her like get better from like watching my content and getting into reading with like her getting her speech back, which I was just like floored by that because you just don't expect that kind of thing, that it's like having an impact on people. And I've had a couple people say it's like helped them get back into getting excited about reading again, which is just amazing. So all of those things have been incredible things about Booktube. Least favorite things, I don't know if someone's gonna yell at the street if they recognize me from YouTube. That's funny. I mean, I guess, Steve, you've got like a little bit more polarizing opinions sometimes. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know as far as least favorite things. I mean, there's nothing that I don't particularly like about it. I mean, I know there are areas of Booktube that maybe have like drama occasionally, but I just kind of stay out of it, and I feel like I'm past that in my life. I'm like a mom of 2, I'm 31, I'm like, I don't really care, so I just kind of stay in my corner and I'm happy with it. So yeah, oh my gosh, it's amazing to me how many people are coming on live. This is so exciting. Thank you guys. Good morning, Lori. Oh man, I was just finishing the answer to your question too, so you'll have to like watch this back when it comes up. Okay, so next question is Books with Brandy Shanae. She asks, what fantasy world would you live in? And I mean, guys, I mean, I know this is probably everybody's answer, but like the Harry Potter universe clearly would be an amazing one to live in. I feel like a lot of fantasy worlds are pretty dark or pretty tough to live in, whereas I feel like I mean, sometimes there's dark things with Harry Potter, but a lot of it's just so fun. That would be, oh good, yeah, definitely, check it out, cool. But yeah, it would just be so fun to do. I love all of the whimsicalness, especially of the first book, so I would definitely want to live in that world. I know that's probably most people's answer, but I don't care. I still would want to do it. All right, Ashley Goyette asks, what is your absolute favorite place to sneak away and read? Man, I feel like I don't get to do that as often these days, although sometimes. Okay, so probably there's a Starbucks near me that I really like. We're in Manhattan, and they have these like fancy Starbucks. I know, like Starbucks is already fancy enough, but these ones are like super fancy and have like, I don't know, like a whole separate menu. They have the regular menu, and then they have like separate fancy coffee menu, and so it's kind of fun, and like the decor is nice, and so I like getting to sneak away, have a cup of coffee, big coffee drinker, and read a book and have some time, quiet time. It doesn't happen all that often. I feel like usually if I'm at Starbucks because I'm doing work and editing videos or something, or like applying to jobs, but occasionally that happens and it's nice. Okay, Sarah Carter asks, what book would you like to be a TV show? Let's see, now that I have a house. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, congrats on the new house, Steve. That's amazing. That's like, I'm so happy that you guys found one. I know you'd been looking for one for a while. That's awesome. Okay, so Sarah Carter, said, what book would you like to be a TV show, or what TV show do you wish was a book after it was canceled? Okay, both great questions. Oh, good morning. Oh, hey, good morning. I'm just getting to your question. Perfect. That's great timing. Okay, so book that I would like to see be a TV show. One that I read recently that I think would make a great show is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. It's her new middle grade, and I just think it would make such a great TV show. It reminds me of kind of the stuff I watched on Nickelodeon growing up, almost like Are You Afraid of the Dark sort of thing. I think it would make like a wonderful serialized TV show. So I told her that, and she was like, fingers crossed. So who knows? I mean, who knows what'll happen. I think it would be really cool. And as far as TV shows that were canceled I wish was a book. Okay, so there is one. Listen, on audiobook, yeah, I bet it's good on audio. I didn't listen to it on audio, but it's cute. I really enjoyed it. So Firefly, I know they did some graphic novels, but I kind of wish there was a book. I'm so sad. I can't believe there's only one season. It's such a good show. If you guys haven't seen it, it's like, feels like space cowboys almost, and it's fun and wonderful actors. So I would read a book based on Firefly. I know they did some graphic novels. I read a couple of those, which were fun, but that would be good. And I also might have said Buffy, but if you guys didn't know, because I have an arc of it, Slayer by Kirsten White is coming out in January, and it's a Buffy book, which is very exciting. Yes. Yes, Serenity is a great film. That's true. And Firefly is both are fantastic. Absolutely. I just wish there was more, you know? It's such a great world. All right, next question. Sarah Fott says, my question is, were you always a big reader, or did you fall into reading at a certain point in your life? So I think I've probably mentioned a little bit about this before, but yeah, I've kind of always been a big reader. I know that's not true of everybody. My mom was always a big reader. We always had lots of books in the house, and I was a big library user, especially as a kid. I would just like go to the library and get like stacks of books and read them. Like I spent all my summer basically. My mom would be like, go outside, you're reading too much. But yeah, I've kind of always been a big reader, so not much has changed. I've had periods where it's ebbed and flowed. When I was in grad school, I didn't read much because I had so much I had to read for school, and that was hard. And then I think when my babies have been really, really tiny, I didn't read as much because you're not sleeping. I just watched a lot of Netflix, basically, is what I did instead. So, but yeah, I've always kind of liked reading. Carolyn Dubé asks, how do you keep a good reading attitude when you are busy? I'm a mom of 2 and a teacher, so busy and tired, I have not stuck with one book all month. How do you push through? Yeah, I think this is a good question. So obviously I read a lot, more than I think most people, and probably more now since doing Booktube, but I've always kind of had ebbs and flows in how much I read. I think the thing is that for me, most of the time reading is for escapism, and even in terms of reviewing stuff, I try to only accept books that I think I'm gonna like reading and enjoy reading, and if I'm not in the mood for something, I just put it down and read something else, and I think that keeps it fresh for me and keeps it fun. I think it's fine, like, you know, if you're not liking what you're reading, find something that you do like that hooks your attention and keeps you going. I also think audiobooks when you're busy can be a really great way to get into something, because you can even do it from your library, put the Overdrive app on your phone and get audiobooks, and then you can just like put it in when you're running errands or cleaning the house. If you're busy with kids, that can be a great way to kind of get you excited about something again. So I would recommend doing a little bit of that, and you know, read a little bit at night before you go to bed. Like, find ways to fit it in and make it something you're enjoying, like not something you're reading because you feel like you have to read this thing. That would be my advice on that. Jessica Mitchell says, as an active reviewer, how do you prioritize reviewing arcs versus mood reading? I have several arcs I need to get to before publish date, but especially right now with so many exciting releases come out, I really want to read those instead of the arcs I feel obligated to get to before release. That is another fantastic question. Okay, so a few things on this. Number one, what I said earlier is now more than ever, I really try to be more selective about the arcs that I request. So, and this is the other thing, is for me, I have some arcs that I've picked up places that aren't things that were specifically sent to me that I have agreed to review. So I always prioritize the books that I have agreed to review above, or NetGalley arcs. 8 kids in your house. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's a lot of kids. Yeah. In the bathtub. Yeah, bathtub is that's a great, all of those, wonderful. Yes, that's great advice. Yeah, so I definitely prioritize the things that I've actually agreed to review over the books that I just like happened to pick up or got. So those ones tend to come first, and then I try to intersect it because the thing is too is it's not really helpful for my reviews if I'm really hating a book that I'm reading or not enjoying it. And so I try to mix it in. I try to do a combination of backlist titles with books that I'm reviewing. One way, audiobooks are really helpful with family life, I think. And those have become a great addition to it. And I was actually going to say, in terms of reviewing, audiobooks can be a great way to get in some of the newer releases or some of the backlist books that you want to get to, but you feel like you just don't have the time for. I've been starting to do that because there are a few books that I've been really wanting to get to. Like, I just downloaded the first book in the Conqueror Saga by Kirsten White, And I Darken, which I own, but I keep putting it off. So I was like, you know what, let me get it as an audiobook from my library, then I will actually read it and listen to it, because I do audio alongside physical books. So then sometimes that's what I'll do, is I'll have backlist titles or more current already published titles as audiobooks, and then read other things. And I just had to intermingle it. I'm also different because, like, I mean, I read, you guys know if you've seen my wrap-ups, I read a lot too. So I think planning it, and I try not to request too many things and do my best to balance it, but it's always a little bit of a struggle. So yeah. Okay, one more question. We're almost done. This is actually going faster than I thought it would. We're like 30 minutes. Also, if any of you guys have questions, I'm gonna get to this last question, and if you guys have anything else you wanna add, feel free to do that, and then I will get a random number generator up and pick the winner. So Jocelyn from Yogi with the Book asks, since you're so great at getting arcs and things, my question is, what tips do you have, especially for newer booktubers, grammars, bloggers, etc., on how to get review copies? Great question. So number one, I think the easiest way to get into this is do eArcs. So NetGalley is a really great way to start getting early copies of things, and you'd be surprised at how easily you'll get accepted for stuff, actually. I think when I first went on there, I went a little bit crazy and requested everything, and then I got accepted for like most of the things I requested and was like, oh shoot, maybe I should have been a little more strategic. So you'd be surprised, even if you feel like you don't have much of a following, that you'll actually get accepted for a lot of, like, a decent number of stuff. So NetGalley is a great way to do that, and you can read it on your phone or on your Kindle or whatever. And then I would say the next thing to do if you're just starting out would be go to book events. So if you have book events in your area, so whether it's like Comic-Cons or book festivals or whatever, those can be really great places to pick things up. Obviously BEA and BookCon, if you can get to them, or some of the other festivals around the country. I know that's not a possibility for everybody, but if it is possible, that is a great place to pick up lots of arcs of new and upcoming books. I've done a lot of that. And then I just think going to events and, oh yes, great advice. Hashtag books for trade on Twitter. That's also true. A lot of times you can get arcs for trade with people. Trade for regular books that you have or for arcs that you have that you want to swap out. That's another really great way to do it. Build a little community of other reviewers where you can, you know, send each other back and forth arcs. I know there are people who will do that often. So those are good ways when you're just starting out. And then I think if you're in an area where there are events, go to author events, talk to people who are in publishing. So again, this isn't going to be true for everybody, but if you're in New York, for example, or other places where there's a lot of publishing events, talking to people in the publishing industry and making connections, having business cards to hand out that include your blog or your YouTube channel, etc., so that you can give it to them. They might be like, and tell them kind of what your interests are. They may send you copies that way. So like I've made a couple of connections that way. And then finally, once you've kind of gotten some traction and grown, you can email publicists to request review copies. Don't email authors. That is like one thing. Do not email authors. You will also, as you gain traction, potentially get reached out to by authors or by publicists asking you if you want to review things. That might take a while, so, you know, like build it up. But like I'm starting to get to the point where I get requests for review from indie authors. Sometimes they'll send me physical books or ebooks. And I try to only accept things that I think I'm actually going to enjoy, because I know, especially for indie authors, it's important to get positive reviews as much as possible. So like, why am I going to take your book and read it if I know that it's not my genre, it's not something I think I'm going to like? But if it sounds like something I think I'd like, I do like to support indie authors when I can. So yeah, those are, I would say, my tips starting out. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if any of you guys have any other advice or questions that you want to ask me while I'm on here. And I am going to look up a random number generator to pick the winner of the giveaway, which is exciting. So feel free to comment if you've got any questions. This is like the easiest way to do it. I just put everyone on a spreadsheet, find a random number generator. Am I going to any book events this year or next year? Yeah, definitely. I go to a lot of book events just in terms of signings and things. Sunday I went to a signing for Laini Taylor in my city. I'm trying to think like what my one's coming up. Oh, great. Yeah. Indie authors can be good. Yeah. I'm trying to think like what I have. Oh, I really want to go to, there's going to be a launch party in New York for Julie C. Dow's new book, The Blazing Phoenix or something. Anyway, Forest of a Thousand Lanterns was her first book last year, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. It's wonderful if you haven't read it, if you like dark fairy tale retellings. Good morning. That's really good. It's a Asian-inspired retelling of Snow White, but it follows the backstory of the evil queen, and she's just wonderful Slytherin character. I really liked it. So anyway, her second book in that duology is coming out, so I'm going to try to go to that. Yeah, I mean, look for signings in your area or request them, you know, like if you show that you're interested, you can good morning. You can talk to authors, let them know you're interested, email publicists, see if you can talk to your local bookstore and see if you can help set stuff up. YALLFest. Oh yeah, YALLFest would be really fun. I've had trouble at this point like getting to a lot of events in other cities. I would love to next year. I would love to go to BookNet Fest if I can, but BEA BookCon I will definitely be at next year, and then just like signings in my city, and then hopefully at some point I can get to some of the other stuff because I know there's a lot of other really great things. I think something's happening in Washington DC sometime this year. Okay, so I have my random number generator. I'm looking between 1 and 20 because there were 20 people who were eligible to win. And the winner is number 16. So let me see who that is. Come on, spreadsheet. Okay, so Amanda Stevens. Oh, how did I skip your question? Okay, let me answer your question. But Amanda Stevens, you are the winner of the giveaway. So when you see this, I'll message you on Instagram because I know you're on Instagram too. But oh yeah, we should definitely plan another meetup with Marissa. That would be great. Sorry you guys aren't coming to BookCon, but yeah, let me know. That would be great. Yeah, so Amanda Stevens, let me know your information and you will be getting the 2 books for the giveaway, and let me answer your question. Somehow I skipped over it. I don't know how that happened. Sorry, guys. So she asked, which character is your favorite and of the books that I've read this year, and which that you might be able to relate to the most, which I think is a great question. Okay, and this one I had to actually think about too. So I have 2 answers for this. So which is my favorite character? I think one of my favorite characters this year is Elizabeth Frankenstein from The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, which I read recently. She is just such a fascinating, complex character. I think I like characters like her. She's very kind of Slytherin. On the surface, she seems innocent and sweet, but underneath, she's like very cunning and like manipulative in order to like save herself basically and protect herself, and I just think she is a really interesting character, so she's probably one of my favorites. As far as the book, one that I can relate to the most, it's funny, I actually think probably the one I related to the most was Kvothe from Name of the Wind, and I will tell you why. So I read this back in January, and especially him as a kid and teenager, I was like, I relate to you. I know some people find him annoying actually. So the thing with him is he's like really smart and kind of good at everything and a know-it-all and kind of annoying and like overconfident. I was sort of like that too. Like I was always really good in school. I read a lot of stuff. I was kind of a know-it-all and usually thought I had the answers to everything. So like I was like, I can relate to you as a character. So I would say Kvothe from Name of the Wind is probably my answer to that one. So yeah, anyway, I think that is all of the questions. I'm glad I actually saw that. That would have been terrible if I'd missed it. I think I answered everybody else's questions. So thank you all so much for hanging out. This has been really fun. I'm glad there were so many people that hang out and commented. I should probably go live more often, I guess. This was great. And like I said, Amanda, you won. Give me your mailing info and I will get those books shipped off to you. So thank you guys so much for hanging out, and this will be up on my channel. If you're seeing it later, comment down below and feel free to interact on any of these questions. And thank you guys again for 2,000 subscribers. It's just been amazing, and I love you guys and love this community. So have a great rest of your day.